Hey guys, Corey here. Today we're going to take a look at the absolute strongest attack strategy at Town Hall 12 in 2020. Now, it's worth mentioning the attack strategy that we're going to be talking about today, the absolute strongest. It's not even close, you guys. Like, not even close. There is no other strategy that is even as close to being used as often and as effectively as the one that we're going to reveal in a little bit. First, I want to go over some honorable mentions, all right? And the first one here is not just Queen Charge Lava Loon, guys. This one's kind of representing Queen Charges in general, because if you loop together Queen Charge Lava Loon, Queen Charge Miners, and Queen Charge Hogs, then you do have a fairly okay number of people that are using this attack, and guys, that's because of the super wall breaker, all right? Queen Charges were strong before, but you always had that real risk of that wall breaker failure or having to juggle that freeze to wall break into a multi-target inferno compartment, and that is no longer an issue provided that you have that super wall breaker activated. And honestly, we're not seeing very many jumps used nowadays, but we're seeing one used right here. Now, this Queen Charge Lava Loon, like I said, this is just representative of Queen Charges in general. Now, there's a lot of highly skilled individuals that are having a lot of success with this attack, but me personally, I believe that Queen Charge Hogs is stronger than Queen Charge Lava Loon, and it's a little bit easier for most clashers to pull off. All right, actually a lot easier. You still need a good level of skill to pull off Queen Charge Hog attack, but you need a very high level of skill to pull off Queen Charge Lava Loon. So if you got those mad skills like Darth Vader here, definitely still a possibility. Although one of the reasons that Hogs, I believe, is a lot stronger than Lava Loon is you're already healing the Hogs anyways, and multi-target Infernos are still meta at Town Hall 12, unlike Town Hall 13 where single targets are key, and since you're already healing those Hogs, the single target Infernos are pretty much nullified, whereas with Loons, you got to worry about freezing those multis a lot more often, or maybe even bring a heal for the Loons, and a lot of times you just don't have enough spell space to do that with Queen Charge Lava Loon. But Lava Loon super good if you have a high level of skill to pull it off. Queen Charge Miners still working as well. Alright guys, and still, we are not into the strongest attack at Town Hall 12 yet, because that one's not even close, but our next honorable mention is going to be Sui Lalo. Now, this is kind of grouping together several different strategies, alright? We're going to look at a Sui Lalo right here. Once again, you see that super wall breaker right there? That super wall breaker has also strengthened the Sui Lalo attack strategy. It's much easier to get better Sui value with the heroes with that super wall breaker. But guys, I'm grouping this honorable mention of Lava Loon in with Electron and YOLO Tron as well. Once again, like I said, mostly multi-target Infernos is still the meta at Town Hall 12. I believe this one running one single was one of the reasons that Darth Vader decided to do a Sui Lalo on this base, because he suied for the Town Hall and he's only asked to deal with two multi-target Infernos, this one being a single target Inferno right here. Now look at this, look at this E-Dragon he's going to be bringing in inside this blimp to go ahead and try to deal with that enemy queen. He's got a poison down on the archers and the clan castle. Another reason this attack strategy is used often, because it is still meta to be using either ice golems, big golems, or more often hounds inside the enemy CC. And Sui Lalo attack, where you do not ever draw that CC, at least don't draw the ground targeting part of it, and then you only have to deal with partial CCs in this meta, okay? Now look at this one, this E-Dragon right here. We're talking about how these multi-target Infernos are dangerous for Lava Loon, and that is very well illustrated right here, because the Loons are actually going to be dying out entirely on this attack, but the Electro Dragon right there is still really strong versus multi-target Infernos, and we're going to see that as soon as he deals with all those pups. That hound was accidentally drawn there, but as soon as he deals with those pups, watch him come down and lay down some fire to get rid of the rest of this base. But that being said, it was still a very close call, and these attack strategies, just like Queen Charge Lava Loon, take a very high level of skill to pull off. Alright guys, now for our third and final honorable mention before we get into the absolute strongest dominant attack at Town Hall 12 is going to be Bat Spell attacks. Once again guys, I have grouped several different groups these together. The example on the screen right now is going to be a Yeti Bow Bat, but at the same time, Yeti Bat also works. Drag Bat also works at Town Hall 12. Remember, Town Hall 12, they did get that increase in Bat Spell up to that level 5. Now, since they're mostly still running multi-target Inferno, since that's still the meta at Town Hall 12. The only reason that changed at Town Hall 13 to singles was because they're trying to counter the Royal Champion. But you don't have a Royal Champion at Town Hall 12, you don't have to counter it, so multi-target Inferno bases is still the meta. So since that is not entirely conducive to bats, at least you don't have those scatter shots. So if you can deal with the multi-target Infernos and the majority of the splash damage, like look at this base right here, you guys. Oh my gosh, I think he's going to be able to deal with all 3 of those multi-target Infernos and at least a few of those wizard towers as well, really only leaving 2 wizard towers in this entire side of the base, making this a beautiful choice for this attack. And of course, when you're talking about splash damage, you cannot forget about the Town Hall. It's not exactly splash, but since it can target 5 at a time, and the bomb blast of it going off will absolutely annihilate all your bats immediately, you have to think of that as a necessary structure to get down, all right? Bat spells cannot take care of the Town Hall, even with several freezes. It just does too much damage, and since it's a resource structure, the bats do less damage to it than they do to other defenses. So you have to get that Town Hall with part of your push, or at the very least, make sure it's entirely tanked. Look at this. The Yeti's coming in here, getting it tanked. The Yeti might actually combine with the bats and the Queen to get it taken out, but are they going to get away from that blast? Oh my god, they got away. Now, if the Yetis hadn't been there with mites coming down on that Town Hall and the Queen also taking it out, the bats wouldn't have been enough to get it taken out, but they are fast enough. They were able to avoid that Town Hall blast. But once again, if you don't get the Town Hall as part of the push with the Queen like we saw there, you're not going to have any success with bat spell attacks at Town Hall 12. Alright guys, we are finally to it, and this is seriously not even close. There is no other attack strategy that is even close to being used as often and as effectively as this one right now. And of course, you guys, if you know the meta, if you know what's going on in competitive scene at all, this is probably not going to be a surprise to you, but it's going to be the hybrid attack strategy, all right? And I don't just have one of these to show you or just several of the same ones to show you. I've actually got 4 different examples, and every single one of them is using one of the 4 different siege machines to very, very effective use here. Now, the first one coming down is actually not going to be the Stone Slammer that's selected on the screen right now. He's going to be swapping that over to the Siege Barracks, and the reason I'm showing this one first is I believe this one is the most effective at Town Hall 12. Now, the Yeti Bomb can be a close second, and there's going to be some situations, a lot of situations, where a Yeti Bomb is going to be effective, even more effective than the Siege Barracks. But that Siege Barracks brings out extra P.E.K.K.A. and up to 12 Wizards, which can really get you a nice free funnel on the other side of your hybrid attack strategy, freeing you up to use your King to funnel in the Queen if necessary, just like Tom QH did on this one. Now we got that Siege Barracks coming out, but it's not just the extra P.E.K.K.A. and Wizards to create the funneling, although that's very effective and very useful with this attack strategy. It's also the fact that you're able to bring another 9 maxed out level 10 Hog Riders in with your attack, and that can be hugely beneficial later on, having those extra Hogs in there at Town Hall 12. Now guys, if we're just talking troop to troop basis, I gotta say, I do believe Hogs are the strongest troop at Town Hall 12, and that's that's the main reason this hybrid attack strategy is so effective, because you have these level 9 Hog Riders and level 10 coming out of the Siege Barracks over there, and that's just combines with the Miners. The Miners are the most versatile troop in the game. They can kill heroes, they can weather eagle shots pretty effectively because they go back underground for a lot of them. They do not need a Grand Warden ability to get through that Town Hall blast. They're not affected by tornado traps, and when you combine the 2 of them together, the strongest troop, the Hogs, it was upgraded twice at Town Hall 12 with the most versatile troop, the Miners. That's why you're getting this, which is the most versatile and strong attack strategy in the game right now. And using that Siege Barracks, man, I believe that is the most effective way to get it done. Although next, we're going to be taking a look at the Yeti Bomb, which can also be super effective, in fact, more effective on a lot of bases if used correctly. I also want to take a second to point out that this is a Queen Charge base attack, so with my first honorable mention, I was covering Queen Charge Lavaloon, Queen Charge Miners, and Queen Charge Hogs, but guys, the same reason that the other Queen Charges are super effective, because that super wall breaker being used to massive advantage is also works in play for the hybrid attack strategy. Even though we normally just call it the hybrid, it is definitely at its core a Queen Charge attack strategy. Look at this, man, that Yeti Bomb was used without a rage to take out this whole chunk of base. Now, there was a multi-target Inferno in there that the queen could not reach from outside the base, so by taking that out, he makes sure that his queen can charge right down this path without having her healers roasted. Beautiful call by Juggernaut on this attack strategy. From that channel, queen's going to be able to deal with enemy king, more importantly, enemy CC, and that Town Hall, which is massive advantage at Town Hall 12. That Town Hall is the most devastating defense at Town Hall 12, excuse me. Little cough there. Stuff happens. I'm not going to re-record it just for that reason. Whatever, man. And look at that, man. That Yeti bomb took out that section, opening up a beautiful little queen charge with lots of value for the queen. Now, worth mentioning, this multi will be able to reach her healers if she continued to walk back there, but by that time, you're going to have those hogs and miners moving through the base, and you hope to have that thing taken out by the time it starts targeting your healers. Didn't even end up being an issue. You really don't have to worry about the backside quite that much with these, because not only are the hogs and miners going to be there, but by the time you get to that backside of the attack, you're not even sure if your queen's going in there right away. In this case, she beat through a wall to go after that Eagle artillery, and it's going to be GG for Juggernaut on this one. So without using that Yeti bomb, without using that blimp, that Yeti bomb, his healers would have died a long time ago if he tried to make this same charge, and it would not have been an effective attack. And that's why I said a lot of times a Yeti bomb is going to be more effective than a siege barracks on a case-by-case basis. Now, this attack is going to be super similar to the last one, but you're going to notice the siege machine that he has selected is different. It's going to be the Stone Slammer, and I remember when that thing first came out, we used to use that to charge into bases a lot, but that's not exactly how he's going to be using it here. It's going to be very similar to the Yeti bomb that was done on the last one. Look at that loon taking out the mortar, ensuring the pathing. He decided that on this one, he was going to get his pathing in there where he wanted for that Yeti bomb, better with his Stone Slammer than with the blimp. Now, normally the blimp is going to be a lot more effective. It's a lot faster. It moves in a straight line. It's a lot more predictable, where Stone Slammer's pathing can be thrown off by Teslas that you don't know about, or sometimes even just a building that you didn't think was next, and the Stone Slammer will take some funky pathing. But sometimes, like on this one, that Stone Slammer pathing is going to give you better position for the Yeti bomb. So essentially, the same attack that we saw as the last one, using that Yeti bomb to get rid of an Inferno that otherwise would have prevented this queen charge of the Town Hall, but because of that Yeti bomb, he clears the path for the queen charge, and queen is going to continue walking around the outside of the base while the rest of the troops are coming in from the left-hand side. We got the hogs and miners working their way through the base. He's already used that Grand Warden ability, and because of that, those miners are going to be able to get through those heroes quite a bit quicker, healing those hogs. They have moved out in front of those miners quite a bit while the miners are dealing with the heroes. There was a king and queen in there. Just straight up hog attack right there would not have been effective. Those hogs would have got slaughtered by the king and, more importantly, the queen. The miners are able to stick behind, clean up the heroes. The hogs zoom out in front like they often do, but they clear most of the defenses, and the miners are coming through with mostly full health to finish off the last few defenses with a little bit of help on the backside from that archer queen, and that versatility of the miners being able to deal with heroes and skellies while the hogs run out and grab those defenses with their level 9, their 2 times level up at Town Hall 12 strength and capabilities. What makes this so strong and so versatile as an attack strategy. Now, guys, on this example, he's going to be using a wall wrecker with the hybrid attack, and I'll be honest with you guys, this is something that we almost never see, especially with the invention of the super wall breaker. Most of the time, it's just not needed, but he's got really funky pathing right here. You'd have a hard time direct targeting this wall and having that being the closest defense. In fact, you'd have to clear this cannon and this before you could even do that, and there's really no effective way to do that. So in this case, where he wanted his queen to go, that wall wrecker actually ends up being the better option. It's also going to save him a rage from a little bit earlier on, because that ice golem is going to help take care of that queen, keep her on ice. She does a ton of damage in there, so it keeps him from having to use an earlier queen ability, and the rage is going to help him get through that lava hound CC and then deal with the queen in his own time as well. Multi-target Inferno goes down. Queen can reach it from in there. If you would have super wall break out here, that multi-target Inferno would have targeted and taken out his healers, and he's actually using a jump. I gotta tell you guys, to be honest, I almost never use a jump with the hybrid anymore, not since the super wall breakers were invented, not since they came out, just because most of the time you don't need to. But on this one, it's going to get him access to that Town Hall, so excellent value for that jump spell on this attack, ensuring that his queen's going to go back there and get that Town Hall taken out. That ensures that he's able to use his warden ability at another time throughout the base without trying to hold it through the entire base until you get to the Town Hall, just in the hope that you have some hogs left and can save them. Because a lot of times what happens, if you're not able to use that Grand Warden ability a little bit earlier, you're not going to have enough troops left back there by the time you get to the Town Hall. So with this one here, he's able to use that Grand Warden ability at a time where he's able to have most of his troops still alive and really get full value out of that Grand Warden ability, because this attack is already only 30 seconds from being over. This base got annihilated, but once again, we're not seeing the Wall Wrecker used very often. I think he's just swagging this Super Wall Breaker. There's no reason that he needs that at all. Friends, hope you enjoyed the video. Hybrid is by far the strongest attack at Town Hall 12 here in 2020, but there's a lot of different and creative ways to get it done. On your screen right now, there's going to be a link to some of my other videos. Be sure and check those out if those look interesting to you. Also on your screen in the middle, there's a button to subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already, what are you waiting for? If you've already watched this video all the way this far, I appreciate you. Make sure you throw up a like on the video, and friends, I'll see you in the next video.